Video, what is fertilization and implantation. Let us start with it. Now, what are the learning outcomes of this lesson? At the end of this lesson, we will be studying about what is fertilization, how this process happens in human female body, what is implantation, what is placenta and its function, and what is parturition. So these four main things we will be studying in this main heading, under this heading, that fertilization and implantation. Now let us start with what is fertilization. Now this is fertilization. How it is happening, let us start. Now for fertilization, generally the first stage is the sexual intercourse should happen, that is, which is known as the coitus, is the first step of fertilization. Now during the intercourse, generally the semen contains huge amount of sperms which is ejaculated in the vagina. I think by now you all are aware of the female reproductive system. So vagina is the tract which will carry the semen to the female reproductive tract. So this is known as copulation. The semen which is containing sperms, that is 2 to 4 million, 100 million sperms actually. So that semen will be carried on through the vagina. So this is known as copulation. And we all know that a single ejaculation contains 2 to 400 million sperms. But only one sperm will fertilize. Now what is happening now? If the sperm is being carried from here through the vagina, so what is happening here? We can see that the spermatozoa are deposited up on the high up at the vagina, close to the cervix. They reach the top of the fallopian tube within just 5 minutes. So 5 minutes of their release due to the contraction of the wall of uterus. So this is the wall of the uterus. Down to this we can see the vagina. So due to the uterine wall contraction, they reach the fallopian tube where the ovum was here. So this is the ovary. The matured ovum was released and it was waiting here for the sperm to come. So the 100 millions of sperms reach here, but only one is able to fertilize this. So the spermatozoa also remains in this female tract for 24 to 72 hours. It is not only that within a few minutes or hours it will get destroyed within the female tract. No, it's not like that. It will remain within the female tract for 24 to 72 hours. Now, if the ovum receives a sperm during this phase, during this ovulatory phase, what will happen? A zygote is formed. So this act of fusion of a ovum and a sperm is called fertilization. So what is it? It is actually the act of fusion of a ovum and a sperm is called fertilization. And please remember that fertilization always occur in the fallopian tube. So ovum is released here. The sperm, which is after intercourse or coitus, which is deposited in the vagina down here, will pass or travel through this whole post. Please see my pointer. Whole part, and it will fertilize the ovum which is in the fallopian tube here. And now it is forming a zygote. Now that we will after different stages of converting in, like day 1, day 2, day 3 and day 4, it will finally get implanted here in the uterine wall. So that we will study in the next slide, how it is getting implanted. So this is how it is being fertilized. So fertilization always occurs in the fallopian tube. Now let us see what is happening in implantation. Now as soon as the zygote is formed, here we can see again the ovum is there. It is receiving the sperm in the ovulatory phase, and the both the nucleus of both the egg cells join and they form a zygote. Now after this only the cell division starts. So zygote immediately divides into a mass of cells called morula. So this is a mass of cells which is called morula. Again, it continues to redivide and is called a blastocyst. So it will divide. Zygote is dividing. Second cell stage, then 4 cell stage, then again 8 cell stage. Then when it is divided into a huge number of cell stage, then that phase is called morula. And then after continuing its redivision for many times, it becomes the blastocyst. This blastocyst only passes down the uterus. This blastocyst, this is what we have just shown you the pictures, which is actually happening in the fallopian tube, and the main part of the blastocyst is being implanted in the wall of the uterus. That is the endometrium of the uterus. So this fixing of the morula in the endometrium wall of the uterus is called implantation. So what is it? Zygote is formed. It starts dividing. 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell, many number of cell, morula. Then the next stage is blastocyst. So then this blastocyst, after many times being divided into many cells, it gets implanted, and this process which is getting implanted into the uterus wall or endometrium is called the implantation. So after this implantation happens, we can say the female is said to be pregnant, or it is the first stage of pregnancy. So implantation actually takes place about a week after fertilization. So from fertilization, this cell takes about a week to divide, redivide and to form a blastocyst and to get implanted into the uterus. So this takes along a week time or 7 days time to get into the implantation stage. So I think it is clear with you all. Now if you are having any doubts and queries, I keep on saying in all my videos that please do comment to me, and don't forget to ask questions regarding what are your problems. As it is a distant learning, we should always have queries and we should always ask questions so that I can clear it in your next video. And please do subscribe to my channel and please put like and share. So let us see what is there in the next video. Now what happens after this implantation? We will see a special organ named placenta. It is formed, which is actually developing, which is the uterus and the uterine wall between the fetus and the mother. There is a connecting link. So the developing embryo is attached to the uterus by this organ called placenta. You can see the diagram of placenta over here. So what is it exactly? Placenta is the association of maternal, that is mothers, and the fetal tissue, which is meant for physiological exchange. So what are the physiological exchanges? So whatever the mother's blood is carrying, like food or nutrition or oxygen, that will be supplied to the baby, and whereas the excretory materials from the baby will be carried through this placenta to the mother's blood and will be ejected out of the mother's body. So there is no separate process of ejection separately from the baby's body. Here in the mother's blood only it will be discharged through the placenta. Now here you can see the pointer over here. What is it? It is actually the umbilical cord. Now it is a tough structure. What is it serving as? It is serving as a blood vascular connection between the mother and the fetus. So it is connected from the uterine wall of the mother to the fetus. Now here you can see this umbilical cord. In this down picture you can see this is the placenta, what we are seeing it here. This placenta only in small, we have shown it here, and this is the umbilical cord from the baby's stomach to the placenta. It is carrying, it is being attached, and it is carrying the blood vascular connection between the fetus and the uterine wall. Now from the first few weeks of development, what is the embryo is within a sac called amnion. You can see this sac. This sac within the uterus is called the amnion, and it is containing a fluid. What is this fluid called? It is called the amniotic fluid. Generally, what is the function of this fluid? That fluid acts as a shock absorber. If all of a sudden the mother sits in a hard place or she falls down, so this will protect the baby from all kinds of shock. Now there is one more layer called chorion that helps the formation of the embryonic part of the placenta, which is actually not here. I couldn't show you in this diagram. Now the placenta here forms some finger-like processes called villi. So the placenta is formed of fine finger-like processes called villi, and there are two sets of villi. So one set by an extension from the embryo, and the two sets actually are interlocked, but they never open to each other. Thus, although the blood of the mother and the embryo are in close contact with each other, we can say the two will never get mixed. So we can see that the blood of the mother as well as the blood of the embryo are close contact with each other, but they will not get mixed. There are small villi in this placenta, and they are what we will say, they are both interlocked from the mother's side as well as from the embryo side, and they'll never open to each other. So this is the main importance of this placenta, that the things of the baby's blood will not mix into mother's blood, or neither the mother's thing will be mixing into the baby's blood. So this is the amniotic fluid, this is the umbilical cord, this is the placenta. This is the fused chorionic and amniotic membrane. Here we can see that the chorionic and amniotic membranes are fusing. Now here is the urinary bladder. This is the cervix, which will open when the time of parturition or giving birth to the baby will come. It will open and the baby will pass out through the vagina, and the process of giving birth will be completed. So that we will see in the next few slides. Now let us see first the functions of placenta in the next slide. See, in the previous slide we have already discussed about the how the placenta, what is it doing, almost what are the things mostly related to placenta. Now here in this diagram you see a few things I couldn't incorporate in the previous slide. You see here, see how the deoxygenated blood from the mother carries the waste from the embryo. So these are the wastes coming out from the embryo's body through the placenta. They are coming to mother's blood, so they are being carried through the mother's body and it is excreted. Now previous slide also I have shown you where is the amniotic fluid. Now this is the uterus wall. This is the amniotic membrane, which is protecting and acting as a shock absorber. I have told you in the previous slide also. Now previous slide I have mentioned a few things about the villi. I have told you that the placenta is formed into fine finger-like processes called villi. So there are two sets of villi I have told. So how it is working, these two sets of villi are interlocked to each other, but they never open up. So thus the blood of the mother and the embryo, though they are in close contact, they will never get mixed. So these are all the embryonic villi, what we can see here. If you can see my pointer over here, you can see the embryonic villi over here. This is the amnion or the sac in which the fetus is there. This is the fetus. This is the amniotic cavity. This fluid is the amniotic fluid. This is the cervix. Please remember all these terms, because if we are studying this female reproductive system, we should learn all this. Now here we can see through the cervix only the baby will come out. So I think you are all clear with this part. Now next part we will be coming with parturition. Now in this slide we will be just having an overview of functions of placenta. Already I have discussed in the previous two lessons, previous two slides, sorry. So what are the functions? Oxygen and food are supplied. Carbon dioxide and excretory wastes from the fetus are supplied to the maternal blood. Oxygen and other nutrients are transferred from the mother to the baby. And the placenta is permeable to respiratory gases, nutrients and antibodies. It is always preventing the harmful materials from reaching the embryo. And if the mother is HIV positive, that is, it can pass on to the embryo through the blood. It secretes hormones like progesterone and estrogen, and so no ovulation till the end of the pregnancy continues. It resumes, actually the menstrual cycle resumes only after the childbirth. And this period from the time of fertilization till the time of childbirth or parturition is called the gestation period. So what is the gestation period? This 10 months from the implantation or fertilization, after what the baby is being conceived or a woman is called pregnant, this full period until the childbirth happen is called gestation period. Now I think you all are clear with all these new terms and all the structures and what are the things happening in this female reproductive system. So if you are having any doubts, please do ask me questions, and please go through your textbooks if you are going through, learn it seriously, and please learn it so that when I update my next topic, you are quite clear with that. Now as of now, thanks for studying this full episode, and please do subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like and share. And in the next video, we will be studying about the parturition and the twins and all we have left in this video. So we will be studying about them. Till then,